Russell Westbrook is a future Hall of Famer in the NBA, and 15 years into his career, it is safe to say that most people either love him or hate him. And there are a lot of haters. After his past season and a half with the Los Angeles Lakers, most of the media officially turned on him. And some of them, you know who I'm talking about, even began calling him outside of his given name and referred to him as Westbrick. They told us he was a bad teammate, that he is selfish, that he turns the ball over way too much, and of course that he can't help a team win an NBA championship. But the truth is that you have been lied to, because Russell Westbrook is not just a future Hall of Famer. He is this generation's version of Allen Iverson. The only thing is, he is even better, and here is why. To figure out where all of the lies began, we have to know what Russell Westbrook actually was throughout his career. And to be honest, he was never even supposed to make the NBA, much less become a Hall of Famer. He entered high school at only 5'8", didn't start on the varsity team until he was a junior, and left high school as a 3-star basketball recruit. It is amazing that he even got a scholarship to UCLA, because apparently their coaches saw something in him that nobody else did. And at UCLA, he helped them immediately to get to 2 Final Fours in a row. And he also became the Defensive Player of the Year as a sophomore for the Pac-12. And that right there highlights one of the lies, because people say that Westbrook doesn't play defense. Allow me to explain. He was in the Pac-12 at the same time as Brook Lopez. They actually came out in the same draft class. But to be clear, it was Russell Westbrook and not Brook Lopez who was the Defensive Player of the Year for the conference. And Brook Lopez is a good defender because he finished on the All-NBA defensive team later in his career. And Westbrook shocked the world by not only entering the draft as a sophomore, but becoming a lottery pick, which wasn't supposed to happen when you were a 3-star recruit. One draft scout put it this way, that Westbrook might be as good as Monte Ellis, or as bad as Fred Jones. The truth is that he is neither. He is Russell Westbrook, a Hall of Famer. And that is not up for debate anymore. Shout out to the scouts at Oklahoma City, because they sure enough found a diamond in the rough. At this moment, I have to point out that Russell Westbrook is a different kind of player, just like Allen Iverson was. But remember, he's even better. And I know what you're thinking. Didn't everybody love Allen Iverson? Well, that's not true. Iverson played in an era where there was no social media or even reliable Wi-Fi. He had more than his fair share of haters. They just did not have an opportunity to tweet about it. And even Iverson fans barely remember what he actually was on the court. Iverson was a positionless basketball player before positionless basketball was even a thing. I don't mean that you could switch everything on defense with him. What I'm saying is he did not conform to any legitimate position. He wasn't really a point guard, and he wasn't really a shooting guard. If you had to give him a position, it would be this. Iverson is a scorer, and that would be the end. The 76ers figured that out pretty quickly, which is why they switched him from point guard to shooting guard, even though he was only 6 feet tall. And they would just hide him on defense and let him play the passing lanes, which is why he could get 3 steals a game. Iverson was a great athlete who played harder than anyone else every single moment that he was on the court, and he stayed in attack mode when he did it, which is why he scored a lot of points. He made a lot of mistakes, and the word we're looking for here is turnovers. But the 76ers let him stay out there because they understood that the good would always outweigh the bad. Now compare everything I just said to Russell Westbrook. He is a great athlete who played harder than anyone else while he is on the court, who stays in attack mode while he's doing it and makes a lot of mistakes. And yes, the word there is still turnovers. But the good outweighs the bad, so you leave him out there. You don't have to believe in the statistics, but they show that Westbrook is basically a better Iverson. He averaged a triple-double for the first time since Oscar Robertson, and then did it 3 times. That requires no explanation. He led the league in assists 3 times. Iverson never did that either. He didn't even come close. And they turned the ball over at almost the same exact rate for their entire career. So you get way more assists for every single mess up. And when it comes down to shooting, Westbrook's field goal percentage is slightly higher for his career than Iverson's. And when it comes to 3-point percentage, they're about the same. Iverson has him by 0.8%. I didn't say 8%. I said 0.8%. It's about the same. And lastly, they both won the MVP award once. But when Westbrook did it, he led the league in player efficiency rating. You don't have to know what I'm talking about. Just take my word for it. Michael Jordan and LeBron James led the NBA in that stat more times than any player in the modern era. It basically means you're killing it out there. Iverson never averaged above 26 on PER at any point in his career, and Westbrook did it 3 times. And the most important stat of all is that when the LA Lakers soap opera finally ended, Westbrook found himself playing for the Clippers and starting. And in the playoffs, yes, they lost to the Phoenix Suns with Kevin Durant and Devin Booker. But he averaged 25 points a game when they did. And they were competitive in every game that they played. By this point in Iverson's career, he had already been forced into retirement. The biggest lie they told you is that Russell Westbrook is not a winner. And I agree, he has not won an NBA championship. But that's only telling half the story. If that is the case, then why is nobody hating on Derrick Rose? Because he was an MVP. And in case you forgot, he's still playing in the NBA right now. Westbrook won the MVP award and played at such a high level for 3 straight seasons that everybody actually knows that he really was one of the absolute best players in the NBA. Blaming him for not winning a championship is a compliment, because when you are truly great, you are supposed to win one, which is why Charles Barkley, Karl Malone, and yes, Iverson himself are always talked about with that mentioned. The fact remains that he didn't win a championship. But if you remember, even Tracy McGrady never got out of the first round. So yeah, there's that. But if you take a closer look, you will realize that with Kevin Durant, the Thunder were incredibly competitive. They made the NBA Finals, and then when James Harden was gone, they were 1 game away from it and lost to the Golden State Warriors. As long as they had Westbrook and Durant, the Thunder were just fine winning games. And when Durant left, he never had a team that was capable of winning a championship ever again. And in case you forgot, Durant left and went to the Warriors of all teams. Why were people mad about it? It wasn't just that Westbrook didn't have his help. It's that the whole NBA was playing for second place. And we knew it. Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, and a prime Klay Thompson is flat out not fair. And Westbrook never played with a current all-star after Durant left until Paul George arrived. Many of the players that the Thunder were starting next to Westbrook when Durant left aren't even in the league anymore. And you don't even remember that they were there to begin with. At starting shooting guard, they tried Terrence Ferguson, Alex Abrinas, and Andre Roberson. Once again, do you even know who I'm talking about? And even with Paul George, they weren't gonna beat Durant and the Warriors because for the 2 seasons he played with them, that's who actually came out the West. When Westbrook was traded to Houston, he played near MVP caliber basketball for the entire second half of the season, and they made it to the second round of the playoffs and lost to the eventual NBA champion, Los Angeles Lakers. In case you forgot, that Rockets team played without one player above the height of 6'6" in their starting lineup. PJ Tucker was the starting center, technically, and the Lakers had Anthony Davis, and I'm talking prime Anthony Davis. Let's be honest, what did you expect? And then he got traded to the Wizards, who gave up John Wall and a first-round pick to get him. And once again, he played near MVP caliber basketball for the entire second half of the season. Bradley Beal actually had the best season he's ever had, statistically, playing with Westbrook. And they made it to the playoffs and got 1 game off of the Sixers. The Washington Wizards roster, the entire year that Westbrook was there, did not have one player who is currently a starter in the NBA except Bradley Beal. Allow me to make myself incredibly clear from this point on. The Los Angeles Lakers didn't win with Russ, and that's because they asked him to play point guard, which isn't his actual position. His real position is an athletic playmaker, and admittedly, they couldn't let him play that position because that's the same thing that LeBron James does, and he's a lot better at it, obviously. But don't believe the lies. Westbrook didn't make a comeback with the Clippers. The truth is he never left. Gilbert Arenas said it this way: what are you more afraid of? A lion that is in the zoo or a lion that is running wild? Because that's basically what Westbrook is. He is a lion. And Frank Vogel tried to put him in the zoo as soon as he got traded to the Lakers. But that's not who he is. And the Clippers and Ty Lue got the point. You have to let the lion run free for his predatory instincts to actually kick in. It's too bad that Kawhi Leonard and Paul George couldn't stay healthy long enough for us to see what they could do. Because since Durant left Oklahoma City, this is the best team that Westbrook has actually played for in his entire career. And it's the type of team he actually deserves. And although Westbrook is this generation's version of Iverson, he's gonna have a career that lasts just a little bit longer than he did. So hopefully, he gets a chance to run it back one more time, at least, because a future Hall of Famer has earned that much. I'm Coach Rob, and thank you so much for watching this video. And if you want to see more content like this, then please like and subscribe.